Hi everyone, welcome back to my series, The Decades of Action Challenge. It's Friday, putting up another video as usual. This week it's 1994, and per Tom Breihan, who writes an essay series called A History of Violence for avclub.com, the most important action movie of 1994 was Speed, directed by Jan de Bont and starring Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, and Dennis Hopper. Didn't disagree with him on that. It was a movie that I'd guessed correctly. It's a very, very likable movie, full of likable people, except for the villain, who is likably evil, amusingly likably evil. So when I rewatched it today, basically, I'd seen the movie, a ton of times. It had been on HBO, in the 90s. It was on all the time. I watched it frequently. Maybe not the whole thing every time, but, I was very, very familiar with it. Remember lots of the Joss Whedon penned dialogue, which is really funny. I sort of spent most of the movie enjoying the performances of Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves and some of the other supporting characters, and noticing all the continuity errors. There are lots and lots of continuity errors in this movie. In particular, one I never noticed before, Dennis Hopper peers out the window of his hideout and tells the police over the phone to drop the money in the wastebasket at the corner of blah and blah on the northeast corner. And there's a view out the window and you can see the shadow. The sun actually appears to be in the north part of the sky. I'm like, I thought they said this movie was in Los Angeles. Does it secretly take place in Australia? Why is the sun not in the southern part of the sky? Why is it casting the shadow south if the trash can is on the northeast corner? It's just one example. There are lots of continuity errors. When the bus jumps over the freeway, the gap in the freeway, as it lands, there's a quick view where you look through the windshield through the bus and you can see there's nobody on it. There's nobody on the bus. Not surprising, consider they didn't have lots and lots of CG to spend on this movie. It's a fairly modestly budgeted film for the time. It cost maybe around $30 million, whereas True Lies, which came out the same year, cost $120 million, and that was the most expensive movie ever made at that time. It's been eclipsed a bunch of times since then, but yeah, a modestly made film. Directed by Jan de Bont, who had never directed a film before this. He had been the director of photography on a number of very big movies, a couple for John McTiernan, Die Hard, and Hunt for Red October. He was also the DP on Lethal Weapon 3 and Basic Instinct, both which came out a couple years before this movie. So it was his first film as a director. He went on to do Twister, and then a bunch of other movies which are kind of terrible, unfortunately. I'm not sure if he's still directing. He might be, but I haven't been keeping up with this filmography in recent years. There was actually a Jackie Chan movie that came out last year that I checked out and was by someone sort of unexpected. Oh, Rennie Harlin. I'm thinking of Rennie Harlin. Sorry, not Jan de Bont. They're both from Europe. Anyway, the plot, if you're not familiar with Speed, is there's a bomber who wants millions of dollars from the city of Los Angeles, and he's taking hostages and locking them into these situations where they'll be blown up if he doesn't get his way. And he's probably, very tempted to blow them up anyway, even if he does get his way. And so the main character, played by Keanu Reeves, is a cop. His partner is played by Jeff Daniels. His boss is played by Joe Morton, and he spends the entire movie trying to, save lives, particularly Sandra Bullock's life, who gets put in harm's way over and over and over again, and stop the bad guy and save everyone. In fact, the only time he ever fires his gun is to open a locked door. He doesn't, shoot at any person throughout the whole movie. He draws his gun a couple times, but mostly he just spends all his time saving people, which is unusual. Unusual for, a movie about a cop, especially a big action picture, to not have, big gunfights and things like that. Couple of explosions, there's by the way, don't watch the trailer for this movie if you haven't seen it. If you watch the trailer, it'll spoil everything. Of course, people weren't examining every single frame of every trailer that came out back, in 1994. It was just a matter of catching it in the theater, or maybe you taped it off of TV if it happened to be on Entertainment Tonight. But if you did watch it over and over again, you'd know everything that happened all the way up until the end of the movie. So don't watch the trailer. But if you do want to watch it, check out my playlist for great trailers because it's on there and it's a fun one. But don't if you haven't seen the movie yet. So yeah, so like I said, this movie has lots of problems, lots of mistakes, but it moves at such a brisk pace and it's done in such light humor that you know, it doesn't matter. It's a fun movie. It's just a great fun movie. Ridiculous, of course, very ridiculous. The bomber, played by Dennis Hopper, warns Jack, warns the Keanu Reeves character that he wants money, and if he doesn't, a whole bus full of people are going to be blown up. Oh, and if the bus goes slower than 50 miles an hour, it blows up as well, which seems like a whole bunch of things could go wrong with this plan. But I think the idea was make it as difficult as possible for the cops to get the hostages out of harm's way by keeping the bus moving all the time. It has to go 50 miles an hour or faster or else it'll blow up, so they have to deal with the fact that this bus is always in motion. And that's an exciting idea. I mean, it's silly, it's ridiculous, but it's exciting. And my favorite set piece of the whole movie is not the big bus jump or any of the big explosions and things like that, but rather the scene where a bus has to basically dodge a whole bunch of cars and pedestrians in regular Los Angeles traffic and then make this very, very sharp turn in which the bus is actually tilting on its side. That was the most tense part of the movie for me. Other than that, it's just a fun ride. Sandra Bullock, oh my goodness, Sandra Bullock, so great in this movie. This movie made her career. That and Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone the year before. Everybody liked Sandra Bullock after that and wanted her for everything. The following year, she was in While You Were Sleeping, a romantic comedy. She was the top-billed star and has been the top-billed star in practically everything she's done since then. And it's no wonder. I mean, there wasn't apparently a real well-defined character in the film for her to play, so she basically just played herself, and we are all the better for it because she's just that likable for real. Keanu Reeves, he's just sort of an all-business performance, dealing with whatever situation comes up. According to Breihan, the character was originally written as sort of the smug hotshot type, Tom Cruise character, and when Joss Whedon rewrote it, he made him sort of a polite guy, very sort of not a show-off, basically, not a show-off, and that was, I think, to the movie's benefit as well. There's lots and lots of great lines in the movie. Probably my favorite one is when Dennis Hopper warns Jack about him trying to figure out how to stop him by saying, "Do not attempt to grow a brain." That's probably my favorite line in the film. So definitely want to see this one if you haven't already. At the time, I was not big on handheld photography. It seemed really sloppy to me, but now it sort of gives it that sort of immediacy that you wouldn't get from a movie where every single shot is very carefully framed and choreographed. Every move is choreographed. There's a lot of really shaky moments in the film, but it works for it. It makes it seem very, very spontaneous, and that's very helpful because you know that all the stunts and all the gags in the movie were pre-planned very carefully. Oh, I want to mention Glenn Plummer. Glenn Plummer has a small role in the movie. Basically, Keanu Reeves basically commandeers his car, his convertible, so he can chase after the bus and then jump on it so he can help the passengers. And I think probably half the funniest lines in the movie come from that scene. Glenn Plummer is just hilarious in the movie. He's really funny. He's got a small part, but he's great. Oh, by the way, there's a sequel to this movie. Do not under any circumstances watch it. It is terrible. It is boring as hell. It takes place on a cruise ship. Yeah, don't even bother with it. But definitely check the movie out if you haven't seen it. It's a good, fun time. That's my video for this week. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a video next week. May have to go to Florida for a funeral. In fact, that's very likely. And I don't know if I'll get a chance to rewatch the movies. And if so, I'll have to basically wait an additional week for that. Sorry about that. But I don't think that you should hold your breath anyway because it's Michael Bay week. I'm doing a double feature on Bad Boys and The Rock, which are the two picks by Tom Breihan for the most important action movies of 1995 and 1996. Couldn't have picked Heat, huh? Couldn't have picked Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in Heat with that big bank robbery shootout in the middle of the movie. That would have been a good pick for 1995. I can understand The Rock, but yeah. Anyway, those are the next couple movies I'm going to be doing. I might do one video on both of them, or maybe a video on each, but they're both going to be the same week, and then I'll probably need another week to catch up and be on schedule. But if you'd like to read Tom Breihan's essay on Speed or any other movies that he's written about so far, that link is below. Also the link to my Facebook page. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again real soon. Take it easy. Oh, almost forgot. I did an unboxing video recently. But I wanted to add on a part about the special features, and I haven't had a chance to watch them yet. So I'm going to watch them and then tape a separate segment on the special features, just for more information on the disc package that I'm eager to share with you. That'll be soon too. Take it easy. Thanks again for watching.